In a world where comics, movies, games, rumors, and Kardashians come at you 24/7, 3 champions will rise to defend you from wasting precious time, money, and emojis. BK, Nate, and Derreck will show you how to do it the player way.
Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, this is your boy BK at Play Life Your Way on Instagram. It's on once again, Patron once again, and I am back with my gracious, wonderful co-captains, Nate.
That's me, and I'm currently feeling some side effects of what I assume is rickets. I've been under the weather for a little bit for the last couple days.
Wow, such a downer. Bring us up, Derreck.
Yo, it's corrupting the system, Dato.
Man, I'm telling you, man, Nate, you were such a plug of energy at the very beginning of the show. I'm so glad to have you on, man.
You're welcome. I'm telling you, rickets is no joke, guys. You don't want this.
We don't want the problem.
So you had a whole. Did you have a long week indoors at home or something, or at work? What's going on?
No, yeah, just resting the last couple days. You know. Yeah.
Are you under the weather out there?
Yeah. During like 100-degree weather, it's stupid. You know, it's. I know.
That's the worst. Is it kind of like the change? Well, see, y'all don't really have seasons out there, but it's just the smog, probably.
It's been hot and humid, man. It feels like Georgia in July. It's terrible. Even the nights are really humid. Man. It's hot. Yeah.
Looks like you took a little bit of Georgia back with you.
Benedict Cumberbatch is pretty relentless out there. And y'all can... Yes! Thank you, BK. Yo, stop!
It's so stupid.
I waited for it.
It's so stupid. So stupid is the hashtag of this episode, and so stupid are we, the 3 co-captains of the Player Way podcast. Welcome back another week, sponsored by PlayLifeYourWay.com, the Play Your Way network. If you want to know what we're working on, you want to know the latest stories, if you want to understand how to curate your media,
the Player Way,
then that is the only way to go. Thank you, voice from heaven, I guess.
Yes. He helped you out on that deal we'll mention later on this recording that I'm not going to mention presently.
Absolutely. And what we will mention before we go any further, because we would be remiss without doing it, go on to @562comics on Instagram. 562 Comics is the host of the 562 podcast, a gracious podcast that is only 10 minutes because he asserts that why would you listen any longer? And we know why you would listen any longer, because you're on the Play Your Way network, Play Your Way podcast. I messed that up, so I'm going to say it one more time because it's the Play Your Way podcast. That's right, recovery. I won't even edit this out. Yasha!
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Ooh, first time hit that.
So Peter Piper picked a peck of peppers. How many pecks of pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
And with that, we're going to get on into the show. So what y'all been up to this week, guys?
Man, you guys have been talking about Ozark the past couple weeks, and then you hit me with the realness.
Ozarka,
yes. Brought to you by your favorite natural fresh spring water tap source. Yes, I said spring water tap source because we all know that. You said such a very unique phrase this week in our captain's chat, and it just immediately made I actually stopped what I was watching to go turn this on when you hit me with that. Marty Berg could talk me into doing business with some interesting people. Radio.
Okay, before we go any further, what episode are you on right now?
I want to lie to you and be like I'm halfway through the season because I felt like I've learned so much, but I'm only just progressed into episode 3, and I've really thought I've watched so much more. But this show is just captivating.
Would you say you've only just begun
to watch Jason Bateman be in a serious
Netflixed episodes?
Yes,
sorry,
man. As I've said before, not only am I a co-captain on here, I'm also a customer and a consumer of your guys' excellent and wonderful advice. And this show is seriously the business. This is the knees of bees. This is the cream of the crop on top of the cream of the crop. The best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. This is that show. This is that show.
With honors, Mr. With honors, sir, over here.
Yes. Seriously, man, this is a great show. Like to see Jason Bateman play a little. I've seen him in some other drama roles, but this is, man, just from the email, don't open at work. Just from the jump, I'm like, this man is handling so much business. They had to like it. Just I don't even. I'm not going to spoil.
We talked
anything.
a little bit about this show last week because we didn't, because Derek hadn't seen it.
My excitement is dictating how.
But let's do a deeper dive on it because I think I did say this in the last episode. Now, do you understand what I mean? Jason Bateman is the perfect,
it's satisfying,
measured type of character.
It's so satisfying.
In many ways, they figured out that Walter White kind of feeling that you get, that you trust this character. He's got this innocence about him. And yet, as you go through the show, you realize he's not nearly as innocent. So we're not at the beginning of his journey. He's kind of halfway into his journey, but his family is new to a lot of it. So it's really interesting to see the journey of these characters. Wouldn't you say, Nate?
I'd agree with your analysis.
All right. All right. Appreciate that expert analysis there. Hot Sports Opinions.
Your assessment of Breaking Bad, Weeds, and I can't remember the third show that you said. You said Breaking Bad, Weeds, and
I think it said Sopranos as well.
Yes. I feel like that was Sopranos. Man, now I have to go back and listen. But anyway, definitely Weeds and Breaking Bad.
And it'll make even more sense to you as you watch the show.
Man,
as you get deeper down into it. Because just save that quote I sent you. What was the quote again?
I gave you part of the quote. I just didn't know if I didn't know if it would lead me to a technical difficulty, and I didn't want you to bear trap me into that already right now, as you say with that.
No, go ahead, try it. Go ahead.
To quote BK Jackson, this is a quote from him, not myself, and I don't want this to be edited to sound like I'm saying it.
At Play Life Your Way on Instagram.
I'm going to actually read it word for word. Only Marty Bird could convince me to do business with a bunch of rednecks. Out of nowhere. This comes out of nowhere.
Dude, okay.
The
context.
I can't wait to find out what moment.
You got to say it in a completely different tone than that sort of jovial.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Like Sleepy
It's a
Brown,
rather serious line in the show.
I can't wait.
Oh, Sleepy Brown in the house?
Exactly. That's it. Hashtag Sleepy Brown. That's what I'm saying, man.
I can't
wait till you see that.
But I honestly dropped what I was watching to go start this, and I'm trying to fit this in wherever I can. Like this is going to be the business coming up this next week.
This show, and Nate, you can back me up on this. When we got to the last episode, like when we were done with the season, it felt like there were like 10 more episodes. Like in my brain, the show kept going. Like, and then I got to the end of it and I was like, oh shit, that's the last episode for now.
Yeah. I didn't have that feeling, no. I knew it was the end. But I wasn't as excited to see like another season of it. It's kind of I'm still
you mentioned that before.
It reminds me a lot of Bloodline, and
Bloodline.
Since Bloodline is so fresh, it's like this first season is really good. I don't want them to fuck it up and have like a mediocre second season. I'm hoping they have a plan with the story, and it's like,
you're kind of in this place where you're. It's kind of like dating these days. Like you're kind of jaded. Like you already know you're gonna swipe right, and you already know what's gonna happen. So like you're like, should I just put the app away for a while? Maybe I should just do me for a little bit. Stay off of Netflix for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe go to the grocery store, find a good old wholesome series.
Figure out who I am first.
It's not you. It's me. I just need to make sure that this is the type of series I want to commit to. I mean.
Then when you find a series finally, you're like, I think you're cool and all, But what's with the labels? I mean, favorite series already? I mean, you don't really even have a toothbrush at my place yet. I mean, but you're not even in my queue yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's a little much for me right now. I just kind of want to, let's keep it friendly.
I just don't want to be talked to like that right now.
I just want to keep it.
It's just
super cash.
It's just
keep
a lot.
It super cash. Shout out to Lil Dicky.
It is
because everybody know the cat like a dope meme.
And Derek, don't let me deter you from wanting to finish it because it is a good show.
It's good.
But
I mean
that's why he has his hopes. Like that's why he doesn't want to get his hopes.
And the end, it's like it's very tense, and then like it keeps going on and on. So it's like, God, I have so much build up. Don't you dare disappoint me. You know, don't you do it.
Okay.
Don't you put that evil on me.
Not up in here. Not up in here.
Exactly. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Exactly.
Don't you put that on
What else you got this week, Derek?
Well, after I tried to power through Death Note, the movie, some more. As I got further along, because I need Priscilla to understand and appreciate what she's watching with the other Death Note to see this travesty. Okay. And as I'm going through this, I'm just more and more confused. And I'm just like, this is similar in title only and with death with the shitting. I'm like, so I got to the part where Light freaked out at school, and then the whole room was just tousled and poltergeisty and all sorts of. Once again, like I took another dose because I couldn't take another hit, and I went right back into the original anime series of Death Note, which Priscilla has yet to see. I'm on my third go around, and we've flown through about 15 episodes of that. We're in the mid-20s, so. And I'm just watching this. I'm like, man, that is a great series. Like, Nate, I know that anime is not your thing, but I assure you that I would be so happy to put a captain's bet that I would believe that you would appreciate Death Note.
That's funny because I did watch the first 6 so far.
Nice! Whoa!
Now, I am shocked and appalled right now.
Just a little preface. What? It's tough for me to watch things with subtitles because I'm always doing something else as these things are on. So
yeah, Rachel.
I have to find time to where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and watch this. But it is pretty good. Like there are parts of it. I'm wondering why they didn't do this in the movie. You know, where I might have missed this, but when that
y'all can't see me, but my level of excitement is through the roof. If I could jump without my earphones and knocking over this table with this microphone, I would. I am so happy and excited.
There were 2.
Keep in mind, the previous thing I asked Nate to watch was just the opening song of Knights of Sidonia, just the opening song about a month and a half ago, and he didn't do it. So for him to watch 6 episodes, I know. You didn't even have to confirm it. I already knew. That's why I said it. So for you to go watch 6 episodes of Death Note, let's a round of applause for that.
There's two parts of it that I really like that I don't know why they include in the movie. Where Ryuk's talking to him and L's like just trying to figure out Light's trying to figure out who L is, and Ryuk tells him his eyes about how when he sees people.
Yes!
And and he gives him that bargain or like that deal, like, do you want these eyes, but I get half your life or something.
Exactly.
So why did that's interesting to me. And then they did do this whole where they killed like the police squad that was trying to find him in the movie. But this was much better. Like, the guy's following him. He's on the bus with him. And
rape him.
There was that crazy guy with the gun. And then you find out like the whole thing was Light's
plan. Didn't you love how that was orchestrated?
Yeah. You find out it was his plan all along. It's like...
That's not Ray Pember. That's not Ray. Don't spoil it for him.
It is.
No, the first
that was the cop that was following him. Yeah.
Yes. Episode 6 already.
Yes. Wow. Do you remember? Like it went straight into like the investigation, like episode 2. Remember? Because he hit him with the.
And then after that, he gets him with the.
Like Nate, that was Light Yagami.
Yeah.
The Light that was in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who that was, but this character that orchestrated the whole bus situation.
So let me ask you this: have you seen the potato chip scene yet?
I don't think so. What just happened? Okay. L revealed himself to Light's dad and the other cops. Like they went up to his room.
Okay.
That's the last thing I remember.
Oh, and you see what we're talking about, how his family's a lot more steady.
Like, he actually has a mother. He has a mother.
Yeah, and his sister, yeah.
I'm like, in the movie has his dad like this drunk guy loser. And I'm like, his dad is like an upstanding, like a well-known detective.
His
like,
dad was fucking Nucky's sad brother in Boardwalk Empire. That's all I could see, man. Just a screw up of a character, you know. I'm like, this guy ain't no police chief. I've already seen him as a cop in the 1920s. He was terrible.
Man, dude, how did you like the scene where Elle doesn't actually reveal his face for a while?
Well, he always talked through the computer. Oh, you mean just with like the camera work and stuff like that, where you only see the bottom of it? Yeah. That's how they kind of showed him for a while. Yeah, that scene where he reveals he only broadcasted in that specific area of Japan. Yeah.
Wasn't that so satisfying? Like, where you could tell the difference between where the professional Elle versus the rookie Light, who still has a credible amount of potential and ability, but well, that's just interesting because I only showed it to this many people. I mean, it is the largest area in Tokyo, but hey,
it very much is as you described, like a chess match. It's a beautiful. It was very back and forth. You know,
just wait, dude.
Which the movie didn't touch on whatsoever.
Exactly, and also Elle turns out to be a lot less cool-headed in the movie. In this one, he's very patient. Like, he's very patient in how he plays the game. He's shocked and he's intrigued the same way that Ryuk is, but like, he just understands it's just a matter of time. Like, he's already decided it. He's like, no, I've already decided that that's who it is. I just haven't proved it yet.
Yeah.
BK, you remember this scene? You remember that scene?
Yes. Man. Nate, just get ready. Just get ready, because what I love is the part of the series that you're at. If you're already past Ray Pember, then you're almost at the end of the Netflix movie. What you're going to realize, there's so much story that they left out, and so much of the chess match that
it's interesting that they want to turn it into a movie. Like, something like this would work much better and probably cheaper than the series. Oh, I looked up the fucking budget for that movie. It was like $40 million. That thing cost $40 million.
Yeah, it was.
Think of what this Spawn movie for a quarter of that money is.
I love that certain movies have become measuring sticks for us on this podcast. Spawn is one of them. Spawn. He's on
John Leguizamo in the house, everybody.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Man,
that's awesome. I'm proud of you, Nate. Man. Thank you for
Nate. If you are watching, look, Nate, if you have given anime a try, then you are doing your media
the player way.
That's right, giving you the player way salute, man. Exactly. Well, that's what's up, man. I mean, since we were talking about Bloodlines a little bit, because we seasoned in, Nate seasoned a little bit of Bloodlines in during Derreck's week, and then we also talked about why Nate is afraid to commit to series that have a strong first season like Bloodlines. I actually finished Bloodlines. I was at like the last 3 episodes, and Rachel and I were like, oh man, well, while we're cleaning out our Netflix queue, let's go ahead and finish the series out. So we finished the last 3 episodes, and Nate, I shouldn't have finished the last 3 episodes, because the last 3 episodes are very reminiscent of the very end of Dexter. Like, to where you could tell they didn't know the series was going to end when they started writing the season, and then they'd already committed to the story and everything that had kind of bow tied up to that point. It was the perfect jumping off point to start off the season the way it did, which was very strong. And then the last few episodes are them just trying to finish the series out.
Yeah.
Almost like a protest to Netflix. Almost like, you don't deserve an awesome ending, so we're going to crap this whole series up. We're going to do something so different. I mean, it's almost like the writers quit. Like, the really nice writers were like, hey, I'm giving my 2 weeks before the last couple of episodes. So you got
a couple interns.
So, like, they were left with... Yeah! It's what it feels like. Does it not feel like that? Like, the last couple episodes?
Dude, the back half of the season, once the trial was over, it was like, okay, now what? You know?
But the last, like... And I would even say the last 2 episodes for sure are like, what is going on? Like, I texted Nate before the podcast because we were finishing up, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Hashtag Bloodlines. And he goes, oh, which one are you at? And I told him where he was at. He was like, is it this thing? And I was like, I can't tell. He goes, oh, it's all downhill from here. Like it's really bad. And it's unfortunate because when something like that happens in a series, you don't even want to, you really hate that you invested in it from the get-go. Because the last half of that season is so bad, it's not even worth watching Bloodlines. No. That's crazy to say, but it's true.
I felt that way about Prison Break.
The first season
I was so invested a couple seasons in, and then...
Yeah, no, Prison Break's a good example, too. First season of Prison Break was good. You know, then it just...
Definitely.
It's one of those, like, well, where do we go from
Even though
here,
I don't really like that actor much. Like, Captain Cold, Prison Break, like, I do not like him much as an actor. Like, every line is this, and also this, but also it could be this.
Yeah, he has a very distinct way of... you know,
boring you to death with his words and syllables and
monotonous.
Subjects and predicates.
Yeah.
Man. So like I said, we were. So should I even watch it? Should I even watch
the first season?
Should I watch like the
first season? Should
I just watch? That's it. Resist the urge to watch on because the second season isn't that
very
great.
Mediocre.
Just.
And if you had it, if you knew what you knew now, if you knew then what you knew now, you would just go back and watch season 1 only.
I mean, type of person I am, I wouldn't have watched it at all.
you would not even
because I like resolution.
Ah, gotcha.
Because I like resolution. You know, like I want to see like, but the first. You want to see
friends become enemies. You want to see a beginning, middle, end.
You're gonna see a train wreck.
Friends. Everyone becomes richer for the experience.
So stupid. So, speaking of being richer for the experience, since I was doing a bit of a deep dive on Netflix, I decided to stay down in the water and make sure that it tasted as salty as I thought it would be.
When are they going to start sponsoring us?
Like
when is Netflix going to start sponsoring the Player Way?
I don't know, man. I would tell them that if they were to sponsor us, we would actually change our opinions about them versus Disney. But anyway, getting on to the rest of heavyweight. Bets. Anyway, we're gonna give it back to that gentleman's bet toward the end of the show. But anyway, getting down to the nitty gritty of what else.
Kunlun.
It's kind
Did
of
you
like
say Kunlun?
We are back from the first technical difficulty of the episode, and it's not even fair. It's recycled. It's not even nice. Let's recycle, reduce, but not reuse. Okay.
Yeah. Very good.
Let's not close the loop.
All right. So you said you were in the deep water with McGregor and Netflix doing what?
It's so stupid. Yeah. It's off the rails, guys. Anyway, I continue to do a deep dive on Netflix this week to kind of give us a bit of a blitzcast. Watch the first episode of Disjointed, a series with it's an actual TV series, kind of like more of like a sitcom, reminds you kind of a Roseanne type of thing, and it stars Kathy Bates from American Horror Story. And if you're older than that, then you will remember her from Misery.
Oh yes.
She played the character of the namesake of that movie. Stephen King, shout out to you. But yeah, it's a pretty good series. Where it's, to me, I feel like it's Netflix's first miss with the studio audience recorded type of thing that they got going on.
The laugh track? Do they have the laugh track?
Yeah.
Are you
they
serious?
do, because like if you watch, have you? Okay, so like if you go back, they brought back Full House, which is actually really good. Full House, if you've not seen it on Netflix, highly recommend it. It has the studio audience, and I think there's an actual studio audience over there, but if it's not, it's edited real well, so you can't tell. And then they also have the revival of One Day at a Time, which is also really good. Another one of those Norman Lear series from way back in the day. So that one is also done very well. This one, I felt like they shouldn't have had the laugh track. It's kind of overused, or it seems like they might be trying to do it on purpose, but it's not done well on purpose. It was very distracting for the first episode. But there is some smart things about it. I recommend you guys both watch the first episode, see what you think about it, and we can talk about it later on. But it's about a dispensary, and Netflix is really going all in on this thing because they actually, if you haven't heard already through BuzzFeed or some other online media curation website, then you'll probably don't realize that Netflix now has dispensary items. So you can actually, in California, Nate, you can actually go in and buy Netflix brand weed now. So, and it's named after different series and, different references to different series and characters and situations. So Netflix is really going all in on this series. It remains to be seen if it's worth it. The first episode, I wasn't too keen on it, but I may not be the right audience for it. I also took a look at, actually watched the movie Little Evil. That one is pretty good. Little Evil stars.
It's a dark comedy, right?
It is a dark comedy.
Okay.
It's It stars Adam Scott and Adam Scott from The Office, and
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and Evangeline Lilly from Lost.
Kate.
So we haven't seen her in anything for a while. Kate, exactly. So it's actually done really
well.
Hey,
I'm not going to let you buzz over the Wasp. Like she just did.
Yeah, okay, she's the Wasp.
Coming up.
Which we'll probably give a little news about that. Well, we can go ahead and say that right now. Evangeline Lilly, actually, her costume was seen online this week, which it actually caused some people to get in a bit of a stir because it's not that classic black and white look to her costume, which I didn't see that too much of as a problem because it's supposed to be inspired by Ant-Man's stuff. And on top of that, it's probably her first costume, probably a version 1 type of thing. So I don't see too much of an issue. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I thought it looked fine. I kind of like it when the internet gets all in uproar.
You know what you thought?
You
know what you thought was fine, don't you? You know what you thought was fine?
Really?
Oh yeah, up in that suit.
I always had a little crush on of Kate from Lost, man.
Always had a thing for you, Stid.
I mean, it's not even. She's gonna obviously have a helmet too and stuff, and you have yet to see the wings. Like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah,
wait for the.
It's just getting started. Yeah, but back to Little Evil. It's a movie about what if Satan's spawn was born to a woman that you just got married to, and so Gary is like his name is the name of Adam Scott's character, and Adam Scott, he kind of plays like how you would be like when you first get with this woman who's beautiful. She has a kid. You're trying to make it work. And then you start to see little things like Omni, like Pet Cemetery, Children of the Corn type things with the kid. And you're like, okay, I want a divorce, like right now.
Yeah.
I did not sign up for all this. And it's actually hilarious, but it's done well enough to where you enjoy it. I halfway through it, I was kind of not interested, but then it won me over. So pretty good. I think that's more so because Adam Scott. I don't see Adam Scott as a leading man personally. He's a great color piece to a ensemble cast, to use Nate's reference, because he likes to say that about ensemble cast.
Yeah, should he?
But
he should be in a movie with Charlie Hunnam then. The two again get together and work on something. King Arthur too.
In the odd twist, somehow Stephen Tobolowsky is the lead actor in this movie that happens with them.
Man, but yeah, it's stupid. So anyway, yeah, I mean, but it was pretty good. So if you're bored, you need something to binge watch, that's there for you. And then another interesting movie, probably the best movie I've seen all week on Netflix, is a movie called What Happened to Monday. Shout out to Rachel. She is amazing at finding these little gems, and she found something that I normally would not watch. Now, before I'm gonna say something that's gonna like immediately turn you guys off from wanting to see the series. It stars Nomi Rapace,
from Derreck's favorite movie, Prometheus. Which was the precursor to his other favorite movie, Alien Covenant.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, she is the lead actress from Prometheus, and she does make her reappearance in Alien Covenant. But she does an amazing job in this. I don't want to spoil the movie.
Yes, I watched this. Sorry. I apologize for the interjection. I just looked this up. I remember watching the trailer and being interested in this.
It's pretty damn good.
You know what this kind of, the feel kind of reminded me of? There was a movie with Christian Bale and Taye Diggs.
Yes! The Prestige! The Prestige!
Nope,
no,
not The Prestige.
Equilibrium?
Okay. Equilibrium, okay. Just that dystopian thing. But the fact that you just said that.
I'm so glad you...
Yes.
I'm so glad you mentioned that.
So, go ahead.
We were on the same wavelength. What I was going to say is if you take Equilibrium and The Prestige and put those two movies together, that's what this movie is. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you just said Christian Bale. I was thinking that, like, I told Rachel that last night. I was like, put those two Christian Bale movies together, and that is this movie. Nice. And it's really well done. It's really smart. I don't want to spoil anything about it other than the fact that it takes place in a dystopian future where Child Protective Services is taken to the zenith of what it could be, and overpopulation is a problem.
Are you talking about the highest point? Perhaps you've seen it?
Or are you talking about the now defunct
Pinnacle?
American Electronics?
Boy, don't you... I used to have a nice 19-inch Zenith and a Quasar.
Acme Zenith. The highest point. I've seen it.
Pinnacle.
Exactly. But yeah, so we've done already. We talked about Bloodlines, What Happened on Monday, Ozark, Disjointed, Little Evil, and a couple of other things. We've even talked about what was the other one we talked about?
Desanoto.
Yeah, Desanota. So I mean, if you don't know what's on Netflix, then you need to rewind, put the thing down, flip it, and reverse it, okay? Because we just helped you understand how to do Netflix.
The player way.
Indeed. All right, so, Derek, what else we got going on, our associate producer?
I had something that came up this week that, a very interesting question that was posed to me. And I know Nate had mentioned that he was going back to watch all the related Defenders series. So, and I just know that as fans of these type of things, we always have, like, favorites, less favorites, Crest and Valley, so on and so forth. And it was asked of me what was my favorite fight scene in any sort of Defenders-related series. Daredevil 1, 2, Jessica Jones, all these things. And I thought about it for about 30 seconds because only one fight scene stuck in my brain initially. And I'm going to go ahead and give my answer first because I don't want either of you two to happen to say it. I don't know if you're going to, so I'm just going to say it.
We're all going to say the same thing, but go ahead.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm curious. Oh, I know what I'm going to say. My favorite fight scene out of any sort of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, or Defenders would have to be the prison scene in which the Punisher goes off in Daredevil Season 2 and breaks everybody down. Like, that was incredible to me. Like, I don't know if you've seen that scene recently, either of you two, but you might have forgot how the fact that he just went hand to hand with like 30 inmates and killed every single one of them, brutalizing them while he's walking out of prison.
Yeah. It really is.
Did you see that? Have you seen that scene recently, Nate?
On YouTube. You always run about and see it like on the right hand side of like, clips you might want to watch. But it was an amazing, and it really established.
I think that's my favorite.
Shane as Punisher, like I no longer see him as Shane now he's Frank Castle.
It ain't what it was, Rick.
Protect him, Rick.
That's what I went back and watched this week. You can't protect him, Rick. Why is she still coming? Bah, bah. I'm telling you, ain't what it was, Rick.
But that was mine. That was mine. Now, I mean, I guess you could categorize different like group fight scenes, so on and so forth. But when I initially
mine would have been the hallway scene.
Daredevil.
The original hallway scene.
The first one, that Daredevil when he was rescuing old girl. That one was pretty legit.
That was the one where you sit up in your chair and you're like, okay, Netflix, touche. Like you're like, okay, we're about to go on a little journey here. From here on out, the next 5 years of my life will be wasted on this show.
Like,
from here,
there was nothing in Iron Fist. I couldn't think of one fight scene in Iron Fist.
Well, mine was where we had to be going through the 3 trials, fighting the 3 different.
Oh my God, Nate!
I'm just joking.
Don't you dare corrupt the system
without picking the 2 you guys already picked.
Fight these 2 cooks.
without picking what you guys already said, in Daredevil season 1 where he fights Nobu, where Nobu's all in ninja garb and really like slices and dices him up.
That's a good one too.
Like
where he sliced
he
him.
was
Nice.
He really messed him up.
Yeah.
Like that was a
Daredevil season 1. Or just Daredevil series in general. The best fights out there.
It has the best.
Where are these guys for the rest of the shows? You know, Iron Fist.
Do they have like different choreographers like in the other series?
I wouldn't have.
Like,
I would try to get the same guys.
I'd be like, yes. Whoever makes Matthew Murdock look like
choreography either. It's not just the fight choreography. It's also the director of photography. It's how they're composing the shots. Because you can have the best fight scene in the world, but it's still a scene. It's still fake fighting. So if you don't shoot it right, I mean, it's. I
want some cradle to grave situations.
Like it's the reason why WWE's fake fighting sells a lot better than any other federation. They do really good quick edits. The guys who are holding the cameras know how to jostle it and make it look like they actually got hit. I mean, you got to be trained to know what you're doing, and that's what I've always seen. I've never thought that the fighting in. And I'm going to say something really crazy. I don't think the fighting in Iron Fist is that terrible. It's the composure of the scenes.
I agree with that.
The mise-en-scène, what's going on in the scene itself, and how the scene is composed and lit. Like, it's just shot all wrong. You could take those same scenes, because it probably is the same choreographer, to be honest. I don't see why they would do something different.
I feel like the best one in Iron Fist would have been when old girl was fighting like those dudes, like the first guy she fought with. Like, but that would probably, and that was still, it just still was painful to watch.
You even got to think about this: the weapons that Iron Fist has to use is limited based on the writing too. So it's a lot of that stuff is limited on what he can and cannot.
I am Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun. Sworn enemy of the hand.
Goodness, guys, we need to let that. What else we got, Derek? We're just gonna go.
Hey man, but yeah. So that was good talk. You guys, I knew you guys would have some good input on that. But is there anything else that you had to push through, BK, this week?
Yeah. I mean, we could do a quick hit on that. The gentleman's bet. Let's play that music for a little bit, just to kind of season the mood for a second. If you have not been on our YouTube channel,
did you?
Yeah, if you've not been on our YouTube, I did. If you've not been on our YouTube channel, you can easily go there by going to playlifeyourway.com and click on the YouTube icon, or you can just look at the article and click the gentleman's bet. BK settles up on the gentleman's bet, and I had to take that spicy nuclear ramen challenge, nearly 9,000 Scoville units. And it was, I did it. I would not have been doing it as a normal snack or flavor. First and foremost, I'm over 30, so ramen noodles is something that is not part of my normal diet, just because
as Derek looks across to the giant box of ramen noodles that he has in his living room literally right now, a 48 pack from Sam's. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, but you also have a family, so it's different. You have a family, so it's a completely different. He's going to grab the ramen noodles.
There is no lie.
Top ramen, baby. Yeah, but you also have a family. It's a whole nother. Let me wait till he gets his headphones back on. Boom, we got it. The 2-time spicy Samyang brand nuclear noodle. But no, what I was saying, Derek, is like, but you also have a family, so it's a completely different scenario.
Yeah, I love watching them eat ramen while I'm eating like a porterhouse.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're gonna learn.
I'm gonna leave that whole.
This is for discipline. You'll learn to listen in all of this.
Let me tell you, and one of these days I'll tell you the story about the first time I had queso, like like chile con queso, like kind of like that queso dip. My grandpa made it for himself and his girlfriend or whatever, and didn't let us have any. And when I asked him for something, he got mad. # black parenting. But anyway,
how dare you, boy? You better go get you some water and be all right.
You can't have this. Just too spicy for you. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, the ramen was pretty good. It was definitely tasty, but it was definitely hot. So if you want to take a look at that and see and laugh at my pain, just go on to playlifeyourway.com and click on just scroll until you see the article.
You even went above and beyond, because originally you said you were only going to give yourself 1 minute, but then you set the timer for 2. I'm like, oh man.
Well, you know why I did that? The reason why I did that is because I looked online and there's so many Americans and Americanized Asian people who have done the challenge that for some reason, they're eating the ramen without the soup component. Like, they're just pouring the sauce on the noodles dry. And I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like, not dry. I mean, the noodles have been cooked or whatever, but it's all, I don't know, I guess in people's mind, if I eat 2 packages of ramen and then put both packages of spice on there, or if I just cook one, but then I don't put any water in it, somehow that makes it more dangerous, and it doesn't. What I did actually is worse. To make the ramen soup with the exact measurement of water it tells you on the package, and then to have to drink all of the soup consomme down right after that, that's how you do the spicy ramen challenge the player way. Okay?
I ate my bowl last night, man, and I respect and salute you.
Absolutely, man. Were you sweating?
Taito. It was,
had a little snot action?
My nose was a little athletic.
kind of how when we used to be in the swimming pool back in the day.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
I'm not gonna say it on there.
No.
Just by the way, phrasing. Hashtag phrasing.
Definitely phrasing.
Anyway, pause.
Yeah.
But anyway, hashtag water sports. What else we got, Derek?
Well, to speak on that conspiracy talk that we like.
Conspiracy?
Yeah, conspiracy. Perhaps
you've
heard.
You have a conspiracy theories?
I'm bringing up. You may know. Maybe other people may not know, but I know that jet fuels do not melt steel beams, first of all. And second of all, I've heard of the Disclosure Project. And the Disclosure Project is a research project working to fully disclose facts about UFOs, extraterrestrial intelligence, classified advanced energy propulsion systems.
Wait a minute, are you going to do a story on the Disclosure Project?
Yeah, well, yes, in essence, because there is a movie on Netflix, once again, titled Unacknowledged. Came out earlier this year, but it just now showed up in the new releases. And this actually is the documentary, good lord, documentary, on the guys that actually came forward. And when I say these guys, like, I'm talking about a panel of like astrophysicists, like nuclear research guys. Like, these guys had information that the president didn't even have privilege to know, and presidents were refused knowledge to even know what these guys were working on. And these guys got together. Their goal is to make these type of things public because we have a right to know. And I agree with them. These are
because the truth is out there.
It is. And so they really touch on like cover-ups, all those like firsthand experience, just these things. And the documentary is very informative. Okay, the X-Files got you.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know what. And the whole fact you're still trying to talk on and be serious. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was.
No, Nate, I appreciate that because it was a funny hot take.
The truth is out there.
but what a conspiracy.
Nate, okay, do that again. I need to add you to the conspiracy theory drive. Do it.
The truth is out there.
Conspiracy.
I love that he's laughing while he's doing it. Yeah, I'm adding it. I might retroactively add it. So you might have already heard this. This is where it came from when you heard it, ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, with all due respect. Go ahead, Derek. Sorry.
No. You're good.
I had to hit him with the hot sports opinions about the conspiracy theorists.
This focuses on like the actual unacknowledged documentary. It just focuses on like the historical files of that whole Disclosure Project and how like UFO secrecy and just like evidence and just the foremost experts on these things that have actually been privy to the information and working to actually get this information released to the public. And it is tremendously interesting just to see the guys, the emotion, the frustration, the dedication that these guys put, decades of their life toward, to be shunned, exiled, have their stories dropped into the tabloids, because what's the easiest way to have somebody not believe your story if you have witnesses? You have to discredit the witness. Oh, this guy's a drinker. He didn't have his glass.
Put him in the hot sheets.
Exactly. Put him in the hot sheets. This guy, he didn't have on his glasses. He's an alcoholic. He's addicted to drugs. Like, what did he see? We don't know what he's talking about. And he was dishonorably discharged. Discredit the witnesses. But if you and I said, hey, man, over 100 million people have reporting seeing something like this, you would have to listen to that group of people if they said they saw me robbing a store. If 100 million people, I'm going to jail. Period. The end. But, government, all that. So I would recommend this for you guys. I don't I'm all about astronomy, space, ET, ancient alien. I'm all about that. You may not know all about that. That's why I tell people to stay weird out there. But this one it's right up your alley, Dr. Grant.
Shout out to Action Bronson. If you need something to do,
this is it.
While also inhaling some of the Christmas trees,
sweet Christmas.
Some of that sweet.
Shout out to myself and BK walking through New York, smelling some sweet Christmas, and somehow everybody knew exactly how we meant it when we said it.
I love it. But yeah, Ancient Aliens. Action Bronson watches Ancient Aliens. Watching this thing, that is totally thing. I think we got this vibe going. I'm gonna stay on that same vibe. Derek, you said you are totally into conspiracy theorists, and you're also into space, the final frontier.
These are the voyages of
the top grossing new movie of this weekend was actually not a new movie at all. It was a revival, the 40th anniversary of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes, at the same time. Yes. Unscripted. This is natural dialogue, just so y'all know. You wish your conversations were
You're watching a master at work.
Man, I loved that movie. Man, that movie was a great movie, and that was and they definitely
Before we go any further, Derek, you want to hit them with that box office hustle drop?
Well, yeah, let's do that.
Yes, can I have your attention, please? Box office hustle.
All right, it's time for the box office hustle.
All right, cut and print. Beautiful.
Box office hustle, Derek, take it away.
What BK, our captain in charge over here, is talking about? He is talking about. First of all, I'm floored that this is the 40th anniversary of this.
Man.
Like 40 years ago, this movie came out. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. If you haven't seen it, this movie still holds up. Special effects wise, notwithstanding, considering it's a 40-year-old movie, but not many movies that are 40 years old can come out and get almost $2 million in a weekend when only being in 900 theaters. You know what I mean? But this is a great movie. I highly suggest, if you haven't watched a good classic, this is definitely right up there. Dreyfuss is in here. This is one of his earlier roles in this one. But this follows the story of a gentleman comes across a situation, a railroad track, and this goes and his whole life changes at that moment, literally. And I'd be all right with. I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of this one. Actually, a proper remake of this one.
That, to me, that should be a remake. They're out here making all other kinds of things, and speaking of making all other kinds of things, what came in an astounding close second for newest theatrical release of the weekend, Derek, bring it on around.
I don't want to admit that Inhumans, it did 1.5 million.
Over 1.
It
over
did
1.5
million. Wow. I was so confident last week. I said I'd be shocked if this even hits 1 million.
Yeah, I think we all need to do something to suffer the wrath of this because it's.
Is this going?
Well, I guess we just need to buy ourselves drinks. Oh, poor us.
No. I think we need to do. I think we need to go to Buffalo Wild Wings when we get here in town.
Non-gentle.
And I think we need.
You ain't
to do
talking about that
5-week challenge.
You ain't talking about that deal.
I think we need to do it. I think we need to do the Blazing Wing challenge.
Oh, we need to suffer that much because of Inhumans doing 1.5 million.
We were totally wrong.
It wasn't even a bet that none of us even wanted to do it.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and let you hit that fake news off the top. We got to stay honest. We told these people who listen to this beautiful podcast, and we let them off the hook. We can't let ourselves off the hook, man.
None of our hearts were in that bet. Does that count at all? There were no stakes. Dude. There were no stakes. We can't add stakes to a bet that we didn't even have stakes on.
I agree. That's why we're gonna eat wings we're gonna eat chicken instead of beef. That's right.
I will.
There is no steak in this. There's no steak.
I will eat one lima bean, and I hate lima beans. That is the effort I am willing to put in for guessing that Inhumans would only do $666,000 when it did.
All right, so we will be taking the Blazing Wing challenge when we get here in town. It'll be on YouTube.
For y'all who are counting, that's objection overruled. So if y'all are counting,
right here in Atlanta, Georgia. That's right. Thank you. Proud. I appreciate it. I love the adulation that we're getting right now. But yeah, Inhumans actually tested much better. I do have a theory.
Did they make their budget back?
Pre-purchase ticket. No, I think. Here's the thing. I think these results are specious. I believe that what's going on here is that they pre-purchased a lot of tickets, a lot of them, because
the Inhuman crew bought their own tickets. IMAX,
what? No. Stay with me for a second, because this is my conspiracy theory for this week. All right, so my conspiracy theory, you got to think about it first and foremost. It's IMAX only release, so already there's a huge markup just to even see this thing. So it's not like 1 million people went to go see this thing. It's not the same thing as people making a choice to see it on IMAX 3D versus seeing it in the normal theater. It's got a limited release. On top of that, there were I got tons of emails about free IMAX tickets. There were IMAX giveaways while supplies lasted in theaters. You could actually go up to a theater that had this and inquire about it, and you could get a free ticket. So
I will say we did. I did our suggestion mid bet where I said, "Will this outdo Wonder Woman?" And if we had stuck to that one, which I was going to say it wasn't going to outdo Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman almost did 2 million this weekend, and that released 3 months ago. 3 months ago.
Speaking of which, did y'all see the fact that are y'all paying attention to the fact that Wonder Woman is almost surpassed? Was it Guardians of the Galaxy? No, it's Civil War. Civil War. It's almost past Civil War now.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Man, let's see. What's it at? Worldwide 812? Domestic 408?
Well, no, it hasn't surpassed it worldwide yet, but it's about to surpass it.
Because I want to say Civil War, it was only around 400 or so, right?
Yeah, 408.
I thought.
Domestic is 408.
Oh, wow, Civil War is 408? Well, then they're tied, right? Wonder Woman's right there at 4089, so it's in essence 409. Formula 409. So, shout out to Samuel L. Jackson.
Which I'm not surprised by this. We all know what that's about. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to appear sexist on this podcast, but we know what it's about. It's a different scenario altogether.
Because she made the best sandwich.
And we're back from a legitimate.
Oh, I love the silence right now. Yes, I am best. It gives me power. It gives me power right now.
You corrupted the system successfully, finally, organically. So yeah. What else we got? We're just gonna move on to another story. What else we got? I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Or Nate had something that I think that probably lead us off. He had a good MO.
Yeah, before we go into sports rundown, let's talk to Nate. Do you have Moment of silence?
I do have a moment of silence. This is for the Brock Osweiler. Moment of silence for...
Oh, wait. Hold on. We can't play the sports rundown then. Let's run this thing.
Yes, it's time for the sports rundown, brought to you by the Playaway Podcast. Take it away, gentlemen.
It's time.
Your starting lineup.
It's time for the sports rundown.
All right, sports rundown. Go ahead, Nate. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, so this is my moment of silence for Brock Osweiler, who has come full circle and signed a one-year deal with the Denver Broncos. That means he got his he got his money playing that one dismal year in Houston. Went to Cleveland, got traded to Cleveland. Talked about how he was going to try to win that starter spot. Didn't. Got dropped by Cleveland. Has now signed a one-year deal back with his former team, the Denver Broncos. I kind of wonder who called who first. I got to assume it was Brock calling, the Denver office. Kind of like,
hey guys, I know the system a little bit.
Guys, look, I'm sorry for cheating on you. I love you. Come on, take me back, please. I'm the change man. I've learned my lesson.
It's not even that. It's like leaving your significant other for someone else, and that person said, "Wait a minute, because we had drinks after work that one time, you think we're gonna sleep together? I'm not giving you anything. Get out of here." And then you go back.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I didn't cheat on you. I never played the field for the other team.
This has got to be a nice trip on the humble train. To get a big contract to be a starting quarterback somewhere, to getting dropped, going to
lose your job mid-season.
A team who has had a round table of starting quarterbacks and not even making the starting position.
Well, if he gets to have any play time at all, he needs to play his ass off.
Yeah.
First of all, play his ass off the way Michael Vick did when he came back out of being incarcerated. You got to play that damn good. Just
to be a starter again. Forgotten. Yeah.
Because, that humble pie, hopefully he learns his lesson from all of this more than John Jones learned his lesson. And with all due respect, I think John Jones deserves the second seat at the table for our moment of silence for this week. Would you guys agree?
I would agree. I had another football quick hit, but you just hit with John Jones. That's definitely bigger than my dude, I almost had you moment. So go ahead.
Dude, he almost had us all because we didn't talk about this on the previous podcast because we were actually talking about relevant sports icons in the last episode. We told him to get the fuck out of here.
Go.
Exactly. So anyway, what's going on is at UFC 214, John Jones, when he fought DC, Daniel Cormier, he beat him in astounding fashion, and it comes out that most likely he had an equalizer in that particular case. Any of us who watched that fight, Daniel Cormier looked the best he's ever looked. Daniel Cormier couldn't even believe that he gotten beaten to the point where he cried. He was like, what else do I need to do? I'm the best at this right now, and I just got beaten. How is this possible? Well, it may turn out that what happened is John Jones was on the juice. We need to change it from John Bones Jones to John Juice Jones. Triple J. Sorry, Jeff Jarrett. But anyway, what's going on is, in case you've been sleeping under a rock, John Jones did indeed test positive for a TRT substance called Turinabol. And Turinabol is like an old school testosterone replacement therapy drug used way back in the day. A guy who is going to be more seasoned as someone who would administer this is going to be used. This is not one of the more designer drugs that you see for testosterone replacement therapy. And one of the positives of this, get it? Positive? One of the positives
besides
of
his
this
test
substance is that it gets out of your system very quickly. And whatever happened, maybe he didn't cycle off of it fast enough because he tests positive on his A sample. It was brought public. John Jones, the last time this happened, got on the stage, cried, and talked about it publicly. John Jones has been more of a recluse. In fact, his last tweet, I believe, was something of, it was more of like a prayer to God that says, I'm in your hands. type of thing. Whatever will happen is up to you, God, that type of thing. So he's getting religious right now. The only reason why you would need to pray in a situation like that is if you knew you had legitimately fucked up, and he legitimately did. The one little shining light of everything that I saw going all over social media is that his blood test that he took 24 hours after the positive test turned out to be negative. So people are like, oh, well, don't you know? And people hit me, they know how I talk about stuff on social media. They started DMing me. Oh, well, you see now, BK, it turned out to not be true. John Jones is good. Wrong. In case you don't know about TRT, Turinabol is not detectable via a blood test. So it doesn't mean that he wasn't on it. It just means that test did not detect the TRT substance or any other substance. The B sample was taken at the same time as the A sample, and you're going to find out it came out to be the same piss. The same piss will not give miraculous different results, and hopefully Jesus will turn that from water into wine from John Jones' perspective, but it won't. It will turn into WHINE. I want my belt back. So
strobe asthma looking at.
Shout out to Daniel Cormier. You are doing your career
the player way.
Yes, and you see how that rhyme? That's what's up, dude. What you got going on this time, D?
Well, I want your expert opinion actually, since you are the MMA resident guru on this. Now I'm reading a couple things versus on Bloody Elbow MMA Junkie, where it says that he could receive a 4-year suspension. Yeah. Like he hasn't been stripped of the championship yet. Like, what else are they waiting on?
They're waiting on the B sample. It's due process.
Is that
White?
I'm not familiar with
Dana White.
Okay.
Dana White is gonna do his best. First of all, this is not good for the UFC. No matter how it shakes out, it's bad for Dana White. So they're trying to focus on other things right now. When he loses the championship, they're gonna do it as far off as possible. If you remember, this news came out the same week as the Mayweather-McGregor fight. And if you don't know any better, if you purchase the fight on UFC.tv, Dana White's, and it's not Dana White's company, it's, some other company, but Dana White is the face of UFC right now. He had to send an email out to everybody on Monday, Tuesday, saying he apologized because apparently a lot of people who had UFC.tv did not get to see the full fight. I was one of those people who had issues during the stream, and I got error reports during my stream. So I actually got a full refund, even though I did get to see the end of the fight. So UFC's a lot more, they're worried about other things, trying to figure out how to salvage stuff. This whole John Jones thing is going to settle its own way out once the B sample comes back. There is still a chance, the same way a snowball has a chance in hell, because it technically is a solid mass. So as long as it stays intact, it's still a snowball in hell. But we'll see if it evaporates or not over time. I personally am not optimistic about this situation.
Gotcha. All right, man. I appreciate your take on that. All I was going to wrap up with this is I mentioned before a couple of I'm gonna take us back to last year, because this story has also come full circle, very reminiscent of Brock Osweiler, but on a smaller scale, but bigger scale for me being a Cowboy fan. So last year, after Tony Romo went down and with another back injury, and the whole outlook and future of the Cowboys was hinging on a backup quarterback by the name of Kellen Moore, and then a 4th-round draft pick named Dak Prescott. Who is that guy? What led to Tony Romo's being injured, and then Kellen Moore taking over. Kellen Moore ended up breaking his leg, and then Dak Prescott, the rookie sensation, fellow mixed gentleman, I may add, took over at the helm.
Daywalker.
Yes, took over at the helm of the Cowboys, leading us to a 13-3 season. And everybody forgot about Kellen Moore because he broke his leg, and then Dak Prescott came to the reins. Everybody forgot about Drew Bledsoe when Tom Brady stepped on the field too. Okay. Yeah,
nowadays,
that happened.
Everybody want to act like they got something to say.
But nothing comes out when they move the lips. When a bunch of gibberish, act like they forgot about Dak. But what I
take that Dak,
take that. So what my dude almost had you moment is Kellen Moore was at the precipice of taking over the Cowboy team last year and then broke his leg. That's unfortunate. Injuries suck, and you can lose your job to injuries in the NFL. So what was going to happen with Kellen Moore this year after an amazing rookie season by Dak Prescott. He wasn't going to take that job, but he'll probably back him up, right? Well, after watching the preseason of Kellen Moore stink it up and miss everybody wide open, a third-string quarterback by the name of Cooper Rush, who was drafted this year, took his job. And now Kellen Moore is actually out of a job and not part of the Cowboy organization. So he went literally in the course of 15 months going from the starting quarterback to the Cowboys to breaking his leg to seeing a rookie take his team to 13-3 to getting a chance to even back him up only to lose it to another rookie. And now he's out of a job. Sorry for you, Kellen Moore. Even though you wore number 17, which was Jason Garrett's backup quarterback number back in the early 90s when he was backing up the latest and greatest Troy Aikman, you were not going to get a chance to wear that star on your helmet. I'm sorry that it didn't work out. Please try again next season on a different team.
I guess you could say they want to see Kellen no more.
That's his middle name now. Kellen no more. Oh, yes. I will take it. Hashtag dad jokes. Yes. Kellen no more.
Yes,
so,
man.
A serious dude, I almost had you mow it. Bringing at the most pinnacle position of America's team to now you're fired because you lost because of an injury and to another rookie who outperformed you. Man. We'll see what the other Cowboys can do, considering our whole defensive front is on suspension. But besides that, anyway, your Brock Osweiler story, Nate, reminded me of Kellen Moore. Just that's a bad 15 months for that guy.
Yeah, and this is like someone should make a movie about like backup quarterbacks. Some sort of inspirational Remember the Titans sort of movie about backup quarterbacks.
No, they need to do like a 30 like kind of like Broke.
Yes.
30 for 30 with Brock Osweiler narrating.
And just another quick hit on Drew Bledsoe. In case y'all remember, of course, Tom Brady replaced him with the Patriots, but y'all might have
he was with the Cowboys for a while.
Bill Parcells had him as the Cowboys quarterback, and when he started sticking it up, somebody named of Antonio Ramiro Romo took over for the next 12 years. So Drew Bledsoe, he had the. So I guess we can in this 30 for 30 backup quarterbacks, but also those veteran quarterbacks who get their last chance only to be swept out the rug from under their feet. Because seriously, Drew Bledsoe took a hard one with Tom Brady. I took this hit. It's all right. It's just some rookie, some fourth round guy who out of Michigan. There's a backup quarterback. He's not going to do anything other than be the GOAT.
Yeah,
just that. Oh, poor guys. But hey, c'est la vie. That's the next man up. That's the mentality in the NFL, right? Next man up.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the next man
Absolutely.
up, what you got over there, BK? You look like you got something stirring up and cooking. Some juices and berries?
Well, first of all, cooking, man. We zoomed right through this dang on episode. I mean, we've did a deep dive on Netflix. We gave people some hot sports opinions about some hot sports opinion like objects. And one of the things we breezed right past in the box office hustle was the fact that Inhumans actually busted past that 1 million mark. And we had some conspiracy theories as to why that is. But the fact remains, the record will show and will reflect that in a limited IMAX release, which is a small sample in the United States as opposed to all the other domestic release options, this thing actually charted well. And that's what the narrative is going to be. They're going to be on television saying that it busted past 1 million and this and that. So I think it deserves a fair and balanced report of what people are actually saying. On Rotten Tomatoes right now, while there are no critics reviews for a tomato meter there, so it can't show a failing tomato meter, it is showing 58% at this moment in time toward the beginning of the week. So it's not nearly as low as I thought it would be. However, when you actually look at the reviews, you're seeing half star. Okay, out of 5 stars, you're seeing half star reviews. This one is from Lauren B. Why in the literal fuck would anyone like this movie? The plot was all over the place. The scenes were overdramatic AF. Neither the characters or the whole planet situation was fully explained. Why were they drilling? What happened to those with powers? Were there actual categories for powers? And if so, WTF was happening with Medusa? The script was complete shit. And the fight scenes looked like they were being acted out by a 2-year-old.
She says what we're all thinking.
But this sounds like a person that didn't know it was just the first 2 episodes of a TV show. She said movie.
Oh, no. It keeps going. And speaking of acting, don't get me even started on whatever TF Isabella Cornish was doing. I literally walked out of the theater when the dog was knocked out and she acted staler than a 4-year-old moldy slice of bread. If you like watching a movie that was dipped in acid, dragged in trash, and shot into whatever fucking place their kingdom is, then I highly recommend it. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter that if there was a movie or not, because let's be real, it is a movie. It was in the theaters. Whether they want to call it an episode or whatever it is,
I read that
a motion picture.
I read it on. I read a review on Reddit where a person was trying to be as diplomatic as possible, but he was saying that they couldn't even edit out like the break in between the first and second episode. Like there was a brief recap of what just happened in the first episode, leading into the second one. Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, there are some reviews saying really great. Really fun. Michael M on Rotten Tomatoes says really fun, great comic show. He gave it 5 stars. Another Laura S says want to see more on TV. It's interesting. There's nothing really in between. It's either 1 or a half star or all the way up to 5. Some people say awesome, cannot wait for the show to start on September 29th, which is Eric T on there, but then you got Peter C that says terrible, I mean bad, might develop into something later, don't go see this movie, total waste of $20.
Yeah, especially since it comes out on TV in a couple weeks.
Month.
Yeah. So that being said, I think I'm gonna take one for the team if it's still in theaters this week. I don't know if it is, but I might be venturing to go see it if I can, just to see. I mean, it's such interesting mixed reviews. It's interesting to see on one hand people hate it, and then on the other hand it's showing great. So that's really interesting.
Was this allowed to be previewed to any critics at all, or is it just the general?
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. I don't see anything on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see, critics reviews, Inhumans. Yeah, I mean, I'm not on IMDb. It's a 5.6 out of 10. So it's the middle of the road. You either now you got it. Let's go to Wired.com. Derek, can you pull up Metacritic while you're at it? Because the Metacritic also has a review.
Gotcha.
According to Wired, even in IMAX, the Inhumans shows that Marvel has limits. Oof, that's not good. That's kind of what Nate was referring to with all of the stuff, all of the promises of upcoming shows.
Yeah, Marvel Television, people have to remember, is not the same as, the Marvel movies. They all take place in the quote-unquote MCU, but run by a different guy. Each show has a showrunner. Different showrunner. Jeff Loeb hasn't had as much success as Kevin Feige has of spearheading this operation. We've had Iron Fist. Now we have the Inhumans. I don't know anybody excited for Cloak and Dagger. The new Warriors. I don't know if people are excited for that.
The problem, the thing about Cloak and Dagger, that it's really dangerous for that show to become a shtick about race in today's day and age, and that's definitely what we don't need. Is we don't need everyone's talking about race right now. Let's make Cloak and Dagger about a black guy and a white girl. Let's do that right now. It's and
it's on. I think it's on one of their more kid-friendly channels. I think Freeform or whatever. I believe it's Freeform.
I think it's on. Is it not on Sci-Fi? I thought it was on Sci-Fi. Or no, it is on Freeform. You're right. It's on Freeform. You're right.
Owned.
The same channel. Yeah, the same channel that what's the one? Pretty Little Liars. So it's on the same channel.
Yeah, do people want to watch a high school Cloak and Dagger? I don't know. Maybe the 1.5 million that watched Inhumans at IMAX. You know,
the only Cloak and Dagger I'm okay. The only Cloak and Dagger I'm okay with seeing is the one that was in the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series when we saw them for 2 episodes. And that's it.
Well, let's go.
Let's
go back to what Nate just said. His synopsis of what this might be about. I think there's a lot of pedophiles that see the show after you just.
Hey kid, you want a bite? It's in my van.
And we're back from a technical difficulty that I myself committed. Sorry, I kind of went there. But anyway, going back to Angela Watercutter's review on Wired.com about Inhumans, her last paragraph is basically a good summation of where she's at. She says, the critical reception has been, well, critical. Yesterday, The Guardian declared Inhumans was destined to be the TV disaster of the year. That's a stretch. A lot really bad TV gets made every year. But it's very likely that Inhumans will end up looking like a big misstep. The fact that premiering in the graveyard time slot of Fridays at 8 p.m. Oh, I didn't realize it was coming on Fridays at 8 p.m. They're trying to bury this conspiracy.
I think it only has an 8-episode run to begin with. They'll probably.
This is not the early 90s when TGIF ruled Friday nights.
No,
8 p.m. on a Friday.
They're trying to bury this show. They're burying
it's like it was like Agent Carter. Like it was a very limited run, 8 episodes, I believe. You know, probably filmed most of it by now.
But see, at least Agent Carter came on like the same night. Didn't it come on the same night?
I think it might have been a lead-in to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
Yeah, it was. And it still failed. But no, this is not good. It says, that's fine. It doesn't... Okay, let me go back for a second. The fact that it's premiering in the graveyard time slot for Fridays at 8 p.m. doesn't indicate the network has as much faith in it either. That's fine. Marvel's success rate is high, and if it has to stumble, it's probably better that it happens on a property that can be easily cauterized away from the rest of its universe. It's a shame that it had to happen on a screen as big as IMAX's. Yeah. Conspiracy theory. It may be that the reason why they did IMAX is maybe it already had a contract with IMAX to provide some sort of content, and therefore they had to release this. You get what I'm saying?
I got some funny reviews over here.
Go ahead.
This is sfgate.com. Lousy editing, cringeworthy performances due to laughably on-the-nose dialogue, no tension whatsoever, pretentious slow-motion action scuppered with the limited budget, dramatic sequences which unintentionally had the audience in stitches, tweeted one user. Not only is #Inhumans not worth paying to see early in IMAX, it's probably not worth watching for free in 2 weeks on ABC. It demands an immediate attachment to those characters that it hasn't earned. Why should I care about a bag wig lady or a hoof man? Inhumans is like somebody who wanted to make Thor, but shitty.
Yeah, it's not. This is not good.
Hey, man, but I guess the only way we're going to know and have a true inside information is, I guess, if you are taking one for the team.
Or you could just wait a few weeks and watch it for free on ABC
wait a couple
Friday nights at 9 p.m.
All right, guys, I have a really
we should do it live. Let's do it live. We can watch 10 minutes of it live and just have us dissect
it. Yeah. Okay, first and foremost, yes, I agree with that. I think we should watch it on... hold on. Is that on the September 29th?
Yeah.
Are you talking about we can just wait till that week? Dato?
I don't...
You know,
yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should just wait until then. But check this out. This is on independent.co.uk in the arts and entertainment section. An article written by Jack Shepard, and I just want to read a little bit of this article for you. Almost every Marvel property released to date has met by positive reviews from the critics. Only exception being Iron Fist, which holds a 17% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, next to the lowest being Thor: The Dark World at 66%. Iron Fist, as many noted, featuring Scott Buck as showrunner. Buck previously wrote for Dexter, being bumped up to showrunner starting with season 6. The following 3 seasons were met with negative reviews. Unfortunately, Buck's next series has also been met by overwhelmingly negative criticism. While only few reviews are currently out for Inhumans, the first 2 episodes, which will be released in IMAX, they've all been highly critical. IGN, who genuinely favors superhero shows, awarded Inhumans 4.0 out of 10, calling the show bad from top to bottom. Man. And that was from Jack Shepard on independent.co.uk. So definitely go over there and give him some comments and some likes for that awesome analysis. Yeah, I mean, I love how he used this as an opportunity to shit all over Scott Buck. Like, this is
well, that is, in all fairness, the common denominator in this equation. You know, and it's him.
I know, but still, dude,
he even
Scott
said
Buck,
it's Dexter from season 6 on, and those were like the worst ones.
And that's the only ones.
Yeah.
Look, I told y'all what my conspiracy theory was weeks ago about Scott Buck. Okay, so Scott Buck is the dude they send in when they realize something sucks. Like, it's going to come out. Like, there's going to be a documentary, a 30 for 30, like, 20 years from now.
Alien Prometheus the Covenant, directed by Scott Buck.
It's going to be like Scott Buck. He ends up getting a Lifetime Achievement Award for taking the L. Like, he's the designated guy when you want to sink a ship. Like, you send him in. Man. So, long story short, moment of silence for Scott Buck. You are
no Uncle Buck.
Sinking ships. You are sinking ships.
You sunk that battleship
on that one.
Golly.
So, anything else we got this week, Derek?
No, man. We got it covered, man. We got.
Man, we nailed that like a split.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot to mention.
You know what comes up this weekend, though?
I was going to say, I did this the other day. I watched The Mummy, which I know, Derek, you had seen it weeks ago, right? When it first came out.
Yeah, I saw it the weekend it came out. Yep.
2 out of 3 of us have
not
seen
that bad. You know, I mean, it's not that great, but I was entertained. I was like, cool. I'm pretty... Tom Cruise, I generally usually am entertained by his movies. I was into that. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
he definitely plays Tom Cruise.
Cruise.
He's the same guy.
I have yet to see Tom Cruise do a terrible job in a film ever.
Yeah.
Like, you will never hear that Tom Cruise was the reason a movie was terrible. Like, there's other things surrounding it, but Tom Cruise does a damn good job, man. Even when you don't want to admit it, it's like, he's good, man. His commitment to even a terrible part is admirable.
Did you kind of see what I meant, Nate, where sometimes it seems like it was kind of a horror movie, and then it was kind of super serious, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't know why that part was even trying to be
what
funny.
Kind of movie?
Hey, man, I'm not going to lie. I still wanted that mummy to wrap me up.
Yeah.
I'm like, she was seductive.
It was.
Girl, you talk about phenomenal cosmic powers in an itty-bitty living space?
Yeah, it was like a horror movie 1 minute, you know, adventure around the world the next minute. Like,
Did you wonder why they didn't hire her to be Enchantress?
No, because why would you want to? Cara Delevingne did a fantastic job.
Excuse me, BK. Oh, you're such an asshole. My movie is out of theaters pretty much by now. It is thinking, why would you bring it up? You assholes. You guys are just assholes on this show. I'm never coming back on here.
Why did you even go into his house? How do you know where BK lives? Get out, lady.
Hey, man, it's the city of 1,000 corpses, man.
Dude!
We do.
But it was a fun movie. I would recommend, if you have time, you see, and you want to see it. It was fun. I don't know if there will ever be any more Dark Universe movies, though. I don't know how well it did.
Yeah. They need to stop announcing these movies. Like, let it just kind of, like, to me, I feel like the best way to do it is to just have a cameo at the end. Like, originally, Marvel didn't announce a universe. No. What happened is, at the end of Iron Man 1, I believe you just saw a cameo. Yeah. Wasn't that the one where you saw Thunderbolt?
It was Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, at the end.
Okay, well, there you go.
The Thunderbolt was at the end of Hulk.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's right. That's what it was. So that was the first one that started the whole universe.
And it was just one sentence.
So that's
like, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. So, like, that's all you got to say. Like, you don't have to make this, you know... I think the biggest misstep is putting a logo on it. Like, the Dark Universe, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. No.
Don't announce movies that haven't even started...
Not up in here.
Don't announce movies that haven't even like started filming, or the next movie comes out in 2 years. People are going to lose interest by then. And it's The Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah. How are you going to tie that to Tom Cruise unless you have Tom Cruise in there?
I'm telling you. Well, speaking of losing interest soon, I think we've run out of things to talk about for this week. So, if there's nothing for the good of the order, shout out to my co-captains, Derreck.
Bye.
And Nate.
That's me. Keeping the system up.
With that urban twang he had.
Also, regular season of football starts next week, so be excited, people.
Yes!
Waiting all night for Sunday.
And somehow Hank Williams Jr. is somehow back.
I love it.
Somehow how he got his job back, but he got let go for doing the thing that is not acceptable. But he's back with the different president. I'm just saying. He insulted one and got fired, but this one got his job back.
Fuck Donald Trump.
The money, because I'm down for money. I ride for Snoop. Dog it on.
None of this is making the show. Anyway.
I don't care.
Well, thank you to my co-captains, and that is going to do it for the show. I am your co-captain, Derreck. No. I'm the co-captain, Nate. No, wait a minute. I'm the co-captain, BK, at Play Life Your Way. And that's how we do it every single day. Broadcasting from the A to LA.
Be sure to play your way.
And we'll play it your way. That's right, baby. Thank y'all for coming back. You can find us on the Play Your Way Network.
Episode 20.
PlayLifeYourWay.com.
Episode 20.
Episode 20. We sitting on dubs.
I used to be clean in my expedition. A girl seen me.
Exactly. Sitting on spinners and they spinning. Sitting on dubs and they spinning. But thank y'all so much for this week. No matter what paths you follow or which ways you try to go about that, just make sure you're doing that shit the player way. We'll see you next week. Thank you guys. Man, we ran through that thing fast.
And it flies by.
Thanks for listening to the Player Way Podcast. Recorded in a single take from Los Angeles, California, Dallas, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, by Nathan Petersen, Derek Lewis, and BK Jackson. Our opening theme is titled Bound by Ricky Remedy, courtesy of Elysian Records, and our closing theme is titled Coconut King Diaries by Xander, spelled Zahnder. You can find this music by both Ricky Remedy and Xander, and many more tracks on SoundCloud. And remember, no matter what choices you make or paths you follow, just make sure you do it the player way. See you next week.